Okay, in this video we will be discussing the applications of linear equations, which we've discussed in the past. However, this time we'll be discussing proportions and how linear equations can help us solve problems of proportions. So this is certainly an application of linear equations. In this problem we will look at how many baskets she could possibly make if she takes 21 shots. With these types of problems, we're usually given one ratio. That is, okay, somebody wins this many times out of this many times played, and so if we want to find if somebody plays another 60 times, we can use that ratio to sort of give us an idea of what would happen in the next case. So here the question is, well, the problem is, as stated, Haley loves to play basketball. If she usually makes 8 baskets out of every 12 shots, so that's a ratio, how many baskets will she make out of 21 shots? Okay, so what are we given? Well, we're given that she makes 8 baskets out of every 12 shots. Okay, and that's a ratio we can write. And also, all of her ratios should be equal to that. And where this represents the shots taken, this represents the shots made. So in this case we're going to take 21 shots, okay? But the question is, how many shots will she make? Of course, anything that we don't know in algebra we simply replace with a variable, and then we sort of use inverse properties in order to solve for this variable. And of course this is something we can solve very nicely. Well, let's see. One thing we can do here is we can say that we can multiply each side by 12 and also each side by 21. Now we have 12 here, 12 here, 21 here, 21 here. And you see that that works nicely because this will cancel and these guys will cancel, and what we'll be left with is 21 times 8, which becomes 168 if you were to calculate that. And then we have 12 times x. Okay, and now that we're not dealing with fractions, you may feel a little bit more comfortable with what we're doing here. Okay, well, we can see that x was multiplied by 12, so this side must have been multiplied by 12. To reverse that action, we will simply, well, we'll use the reverse property of multiplication, which is, well, it's multiplication of the reciprocal or division. And so what we get is x is equal to, so 12 divided by 12 is 1, and 168 divided by 12 will be 14. So, how many baskets will she make out of 21 shots? Well, that's what we replaced with x, but now we know that x is 14. So, we have 14 made out of 21 shots. And that's your answer. And we'll be discussing one more problem as well. Find the length of the missing side x of the triangle. Okay. In this problem we're given 2 triangles. In the first triangle we have the 2 sides found. We're not really concerned with the third side in this problem. And the other triangle we have one of the sides found, but the other one is missing, and that's labeled x as indicated from the problem. And what we know about these 2 triangles and what the angles there indicate is that the 2 triangles are similar. That basically just means that all the angles between the 3 sides are going to be equivalent, and they're labeled as so. And basically you can just think of the larger triangle being a zoomed in version of the first triangle. So what that says is that the ratio of which it's increased of each side should be equal to each other. And so if we look at the ratio of this side and this side, yes, it should be equal to the ratio of this side and this side, because we had to increase by the same amount in order for these two to be similar. So what we can say is that 15 divided by 10 for the ratio of these two sides must be equal to the ratio of these two sides. Okay, well, again, we can, one thing we could do, we could just multiply 6 to each side, but we'd be multiplying by a fraction, and maybe some people aren't so comfortable with that. But one way to do this is to sort of, well, we can multiply 10 to each side, and that will get rid of this, 6 to each side, and so these cancel, and we're left with 6 times 15, which is 90, and that should be equal to 10 times x. And again, just as in the last problem, if this is 10 times x, we must divide in order to reverse what happened in the first place. So we simply have this, and of course we have x is equal to 9. And what does that tell you? Well, it tells you the side, the length of side x is 9, and that's exactly what we wanted to find. So let's go ahead and make sure this is true. Well, if it's true, then these proportions should be equal, and our algebra was correct, so it will be true, but let's just show why this is true. Okay, so we found the value of x such that this side is equal to this side. So we have completed this equation now. Now if you notice, 5 goes into 15 3 times, so this can reduce to 3, and 5 goes into 10 twice, and now 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. So just simply by simplifying these fractions on each side, we can see that they are in fact the same. These two just look different, but actually they are equal. And that will be it with this video.